All right, and we are live with episode 12 of Comic Convos. Today's guest, we've got Brandon from ComixKings. Chat, everyone hanging out right now, please welcome Brandon.
What's going on, you guys? Happy Monday. Happy Mutant Monday. Happy to be here.
What's going on, Brandon? How you doing today?
I'm good, man. It's been a really busy day. I just got home from work probably like 10 minutes ago. Just changed real quick, and now I'm here. And then I have my show at 8. And then I have another show for over on Team Nerd Herd because we all just went to Baltimore Comic Con together, so we're gonna be
Solid.
doing that. And then I have a recording for Archives that'll be coming out this Friday. After, so it's gonna be a really busy day. But
Jesus, very busy day. I mean, I really do appreciate you coming on the channel. I've talked to a lot of people, they're really pumped that you were coming on as well. They're really looking forward to just, the conversations. I know I asked you before, so what do you do for your real job other than obviously comics
yeah,
Kings?
so comics can get so that's the one full-time job, but I guess the
Yeah,
other
it
one,
is.
I'm a fingerprint technician. So I take people's fingerprints. Basically, I hold their hands for like 5 minutes, and then we send off their fingerprints for background checks to the state and FBI wherever they need to go.
Cool. So is it like a fingerprinting company? Because when I
Yeah.
used to work at a prison and obviously that was a job
Yep.
and cool. I mean, that's probably pretty you probably deal with some cool stuff, I guess.
Yeah, you get your. It's mainly people applying for jobs or like trying to get a new job or renewing a license, but you get some cool things every now and again. Um, people need to get cleared for different processes, so
Cool. How
it's
long you been
fun.
doing that for?
About a year and a half now, I would say. Kind of COVID times. Called for another job.
Hey, I mean, at least you got something. There's a lot of people who are out of
Yeah.
work from
No,
COVID,
I'm
so
really grateful for it. Right? It's not really. It's a good job. It gets pretty low. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but I'm really grateful to be in a position where I have something that I can depend on and something that's
mhm.
like kind of routine that I know what I'm getting out of every day. Especially in a world right now, like with when we were in the height of the pandemic, you really weren't sure what you were going to get every day. So
I
I'm
mean,
pretty
that's
grateful
good.
for what I have.
And especially because I mean, I can only imagine there's probably some decent downtime, so at least you can focus on your channel a lot too, right?
Oh yeah, today we're entering our slower season because over the summers we're jam packed with like camps and all that.
Oh
But
yeah.
this winter we're slowing down, so it's got to answer. So today was just all emails, Monday's emails. So
Cool. I'm guessing, every Monday is just boring catch up stuff from the weekend.
yeah, especially Halloween weekend where probably every email's like, yeah, nope. Steelers are playing on Sunday. Nope.
Oh my God, Steelers. So where are you from?
So I'm originally from Pittsburgh, but I'm living in Maryland. So
All right.
right outside DC.
At least you're from Pittsburgh. I'm from the more Philadelphia area, so I'm a big Eagles fan.
All right. Oh yeah, I know one of my buddies came into your chat and he's like, "Oh, how about them Cowboys every stream? How about them Cowboys?" I'm like, "Shut up, dude."
Dude, I'm cool with it.
I know, I know, I love it. It's fun because
I tell everyone the Cowboys can keep winning because they're going to be a first round exit every single time. Let them win every game. It just is that much better when they lose that first round.
they look good, except cornerback's out for a little bit of time now.
For the Cowboys,
Diggs, her got injured.
I
He did
saw
something with
that.
his ankle.
But either way, so today's Monday, new comic book day coming up on Wednesday. I know from all your posts, your videos, you're a big X-Men guy. I see you post a lot of stuff about DC too. I'm going to be real. I'm not a big DC fan, nor am I a big X-Men fan. Lay it on me. Why do you like it so much?
I love the X-Men, especially right now, is because this is so unprecedented. Um, I kind of feel like, and I'm not trying to compare it to anything Claremont did, because what Claremont did, he introduced a whole new team of mutants. He was way ahead of his time with diversity and kind of what he was speaking on. If you go back and read some of those books, but what Hickman is doing today, the X-Men have kind of been a team that have always been shunned and just characters that you kind of just frown upon, right? They're part of a large universe, but like as humans, they kind of see them as like kind of outcasts of society.
Mhm.
So I love right now kind of like it's almost the opposite, and they're here to stay. And you've never seen every single mutant in one place before, and these are just newer characters, older characters. So it's a great way for new and old fans. Even if you just watch the cartoons, you have something there. The books are set up to where you don't really need to read everything. There's a book for a different kind of readership. So I'm just great. I just love exploring this world, and it's gonna be for years to come. So like I personally want to be heavy on it because I'm a fan of the team, but also because this is something that we really haven't seen in comics before, right?
Really?
And it's kind of testing the patience of readers. If you look at comics from the early 2000s, look at like a Secret Invasion or War of the Realms story arcs that was kind of early 2010s and then leading into 2017, 2018. But you had these events that were built up over years, these story arcs that were built up over years. Nowadays readers are like, oh, one issue sucks, see you later, out the door, right? And they're so ready to drop it. I think this is kind of bringing us back to those days where a lot of books don't.
I can admit, at least with X-Men, while I'm not reading anything modern right now from X-Men, the last thing I read was House and Powers of X. And honestly, I liked it. My knowledge just really isn't there. So I didn't continue on past that because I think it was Dawn of X was the next event after that.
It wasn't really an event. Dawn of X was kind of like the stage. It was like kind of stage 1, right, of this new world. And now we're in the reign of X. So
okay. Now I thought it was cool. I really did. But as like a non-X-Men reader, as it moved out of the House and Powers of X and it started to go in all these different tie-ins, all these different storylines, I felt overwhelmed. I was like, I don't know what to read. I don't know who these characters are. My shop even said, get the main X-Men title, get 1 or 2 tie-ins. You're obviously going to miss a little bit of story, but most people truly can't afford all the X-Men that's going on right now.
Right. No, and they definitely are very overwhelming in their titles. That's something that I've kind of been looking at as of late. But it's also like, it's how you're learning about these characters too. That's really exciting because kind of a fresher taste on Wolverine, right? They're kind of resorting to the classic run, but it's also kind of building in its whole new adventure for Wolverine. So even if you have like a character that you like, for example, Gambit, there's a book kind of for Gambit fans, to where you're not really. I don't feel it's like you're only pressured if it's like someone throws it in your face. But as for DC, the point you made earlier, I'm actually not the biggest DC fan.
No,
I'm more of a Marvel fan. I pick up a lot of DC because I'm huge on Nightwing, and now is the best time to be a Nightwing fan because Dan DiDio had that whole FU thing during his tenure, and just Nightwing has not been treated since Dixon left the book.
The new series ain't bad. I've read a few issues.
It's fantastic. Other than that, I just try to read as much as I can and just really appreciate the time we're in comics and try to obtain the knowledge that I have. So, and be able to talk about it to people like you guys.
Now, I know I saw one of your latest posts. You had a massive stack of books that you said you were trying to finish up by the end of the year. That was a big stack. I don't know if you could do that. If you add new comic book days in with it.
I just finished Gideon Falls.
What'd you think?
I loved it. I love that book. I read like the first 10 issues digitally for a stream that I did probably like as it was first coming out and the first trade came out for a group that I'm no longer associated with. But since then it was like I never went back and looked at the book again. And I read it. I was like, oh, spooky season. I'll read it. I'll get it over with. And it was like, I couldn't put it down. I picked it up. I probably finished it in like 3 hours. I've never seen Andreas Ariento draw that way. And I love their art in Green Arrow. And that's like.
He also does Green Arrow? Or
did Green Arrow? Yeah, Jeff Lemire and Ariento did a Green Arrow. It was basically what the CW show was based on, like season 4 before it got really bad. I don't know if anyone's ever seen it, but it was really, really good. It just like Missing Link said, it did not deserve to be canceled.
So did you finish Gideon Falls?
I did. I finished the first hardcover. So
not the full
story? No. So it's just the first 16. I know there's 24.
20. I think is it? I think it's closer to 30. 26?
Something like that. Anyway, I'm waiting for the next hardcover to come out whenever that's solicited. But I finished that. I finished Superman Up in the Sky. And
is that the last one you just posted?
Yeah, that was the one that I haven't posted Gideon Falls because I lent it to a friend right after. But
also, I just quick did a look. It was 27 issues.
Okay, 27.
So I think the first half of the book is much better than the second half. I think it kind of goes away from the horror aspect that it really did. Definitely still a horror book. It kind of goes a little bit more sci-fi. Not a bad thing. It's way better. In my opinion, it's probably much better read in a trade paperback, hardcover form. Because, I mean, you've read the first 16. You know there's some issues where there's almost literally zero dialogue.
It was like the back half of the arc, or like of the, like, say, issues 12 through 16, especially those, were very bulky. And Jeff Lemire just saying, hey, Andrea, you carry this book. And just the way Sorrento was able to use the panels and just change things up a whole lot. Like it was like something that personally I've never really seen before from like
No, it's
from an
unique.
indie book. It was so unique. But I think that was more of what they were aiming for, was getting the horror out of the visuals and capturing it there rather than Jeff Lemire's writing that we saw in the first arc. He's like, I established everything, now you just elevate it.
Yep, take it away. Have you read Primordial then?
Primordial, I've read the first one. I read the first issue. I'm going to trade weight it just because I think
It's a
it'll
good
read
call.
much better. I read it. It looked great, but I think oversized. It's going to get that oversized. We already know because Image is all over people like Lemire, Hickman, Donny Cates. So you're going to see it there. And I'm going to like it even better.
I think it's only a 5 or 6 issue run though.
6 issues, yeah.
6
so I'm
issues?
like, it just saves more money. They'll throw it up on a $25 sign. Give it a hardcover. It'll be worth it.
Other sites too, you know, organic, all those you can get way cheaper as well. But it'll be worth it.
Real talk.
So the first issue, I'm not going to spoil anything. It honestly kind of reads and visually is almost the same as Gideon Falls, just not that horror, but still very cool.
It was Jeff Lemire's just trying to right now we're in an age where different writers are trying to tap into different horror elements. Horror as a genre in comic creating is harder because you, instead of having like those jump scares, you kind of have to create those same effects with the turn of the page. So there are different ways you can do that. Jeff Lemire is trying to flex how he can do that. So I think Primordial eventually is going to be much different than Gideon Falls in how he's going to create that suspense.
I feel you on that. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm looking forward to it only because I saw this comment and I know you mentioned Hickman, I think twice now. I see them East of West hardcovers. I got them on this side. I read the series. To be straight honest, I'm not the biggest of Hickman fans. I respect his writing stories. I respect all of it. Doesn't always land with me like East of West. I thought it started off incredible and like the typical Hickman style. He builds not just like a town or a city. This man's building an entire universe within his story. And then he kind of goes all different directions. And then once the story lands, it kind of comes all together at the very end. But I just feel like there's so many details that he could leave out of a lot of stuff that I've read from, you know, Hickman. How you feel about that?
I actually have not read East of West yet. I'm tapping into his Fantastic Four right now. I'm reading that on Marvel Unlimited. I have like a night reading, which is on the tablet. Just works better at my eyes, my attention level. But because if I read a book, I'll get like 2 pages and fall asleep. I don't care who's writing it.
I know the feeling. It's late at night.
So that's usually like my late night reading is Fantastic Four right now. It's pretty good. I haven't read East West, so that's on. That's I'm looking at the hardcover right now, and it's underneath a few Omnis. So I'll get to it.
Get to it eventually. I love the volume 1. I think I started losing interest around halfway of volume 2, and then around halfway of 3, it all picked up again. Really? So not bad. I don't know. I got a little bored with it.
Comics aren't meant to be for everybody. So you have different people. But
yeah,
if I read it and I love it, I will be back to judge you. I will say.
Hey, I mean, you're an X-Men guy too. I know you like that stuff. Everybody that comes on and I say I'm not an X-Men fan, they just kind of look at me like, damn, that's insane how you don't like the X-Men. But it's just how I grew up.
I'm not saying it's not insane. I understand why people don't like the X-Men. It's just I don't agree with it. And I think that X-Men, that there is something in X-Men, especially for everybody, because we've all kind of been in that situation where we have like a unique talent or like a unique thing about us that gets shunned off by the world. So I kind of find that relatable.
Cool. Is there anything this Wednesday you're looking forward to? Like really looking forward to?
I've read 2 issues already that got sent to me that we'll be talking about tonight. One is Batman Superman the Authority by Philip Kennedy Johnson. It's stunning. It's Philip Kennedy wrote The Last God. He's writing Action Comics and Superman right now. He wrote he did the whole he's writing Alien for all you Marvel fans out there, and he did the Absolute Carnage thing. This is a fantastic story, and it's leading into what he's doing with Warworld and what he's doing with Mongol, and I'm really excited about it. And we talk about that more. And then I do want to give a shout out to Knighted from AWA. Really looking forward to that too.
Oh my god, I am too. I love AWA. Their stuff is fantastic.
Their stuff is great, and Knighted is kind of kind of a prologue to a typical superhero story, kind of like a dark alley superhero story. It's like, okay, this is something we've never seen, which is like before the real origin. So I'm excited about it. I've already read it. It's great. So definitely put that on your pull list.
Cool. I'm definitely looking for. I have the PDF of it. I didn't give it a shot yet. But super quick, chat while everyone's in here right now. For those of you who are about to tune in, all of his links are down low in the description. His Instagram, his YouTube. Go give him a subscription. Go, follow him on Insta. He makes a lot of posts. He's got a ton of content. I mean, you were just talking about it. You got something. You're filming something tonight. You got something else. I believe you said, is it live tonight?
Yeah, we have our weekly wrap-up show. So we have 4 shows on the channel. We have weekly wrap-up, which is every Monday live at 8 o'clock. Okay, so if you want to hear our new comic book reviews, what's up, Jimmy G? You'll find us over there. Okay, on Wednesdays, part of it with the PCP Armory Bad Batch, we have Whiplash Wednesday, and we do a premiere at 4:15. Right now, we've kind of had some scheduling issues, so me and Steph and Missing Link, we will be going live this Wednesday talking about how to make a successful relaunch. That's the show where we just take comic book concepts and we just talk about them. And then we have, what else do we do? We do Archives, which drops every Friday. Can't forget about Nightly News. Yes, Nightly News. I'm sorry.
He forgot.
I'm like, what's Nightly? I'm like, that's not a segment.
Wait, Skip and Tash said the same thing. PAX is dope too, as well as Nightly News. This and Facts. So Nightly News is legit. Apparently, it's legit.
I'm like, what's Nightly News? Like, I mean, we don't really do like a whole news segment. I guess like we cover, but then we have Archives, which is where we do a deep dive. That's our newest edition. That's where we take a trade paperback comic book that's passed, and we review. We just did 3 Jokers. Cool. Before that, we did Young Avengers. That actually Missing Link was a great episode. Friday, we're going to be doing Eternals. That's going to be dropping. So we're filming that, and that's going to be the Neil Gaiman run, or the 7 issues we did with John Romita Jr. Then Creators Corner, where I interview a creator in the industry, and that's the show that everyone tries to know me for, because it's really cool, and that's
a really good
whenever
segment.
It's convenient. We're booked until 2022.
Nice.
The next guests are, this is what I've been doing this past week. We have Leah Williams Thursday, November 4th. That's gonna be at 8 p.m. That's Thursday.
And these are all Eastern Standard Time?
Yes, Eastern.
Cool.
So that's 8 p.m. Then we have Jim Shooter, which is gonna be the following week. And that's gonna be I think it's gonna be like around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Eastern time. I think that's on a Wednesday. That is on a Wednesday. Then we have Marv Wolfman the 19th. It's gonna be I think that's gonna be an evening afternoon show. I think that's gonna be like a 1 o'clock show as well. It's a Saturday. And then we have 11 a.m. show with James DeMatteis, December 4th. So that's the next guest.
A lot of cool stuff coming up. So you heard that, guys. You got to go hit him up on his channel. Go subscribe. They got a lot of awesome content. Remember, I said everything is down low in the description.
Appreciate you.
Oh, absolutely. No problem at all. So, new comic book day. You got all of your cool stuff coming up on your channel. What other, are you looking forward to the Eternals? Have you read the back issues for the Eternals Omnibus to kind of get prepared for it?
I haven't really read much of that. I read like the first arc. I think a lot of what Jack Kirby tried to establish. So here, I think if you read, it's going to be a hot take. If you read the Neil Gaiman run, I think that'll be much more cohesive and more of what the modern day Eternals is going to look like, especially with what we've already seen from the footage and the trailers.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd actually, if you really want to get to know what Jack Kirby was really trying to do with the Eternals, read his Fourth World stuff from DC, because that's where it all originated from. When it didn't sell, he moved over to Marvel and did the Eternals, which, I mean, he created it, so he's every right to do what he did. And I love them both for separate reasons. I just think they were both two high-powered concepts at the time of their creation to, I don't want to say have relevance, but to have another creator pick it up, right? Because he did something. Both of those were two projects that were 100% Jack Kirby, and no one else has touched them for a reason. Why is Mr. Miracle relevant today? Because of Tom King and Mitch Gerads. No one was really talking about the character. Darkseid, put him outside of continuity, and that then he can pop him whenever he wants, right? So not really a whole lot of character study going on. Eternals is really weird because the way that the Marvel Cosmic Universe was working at the time was you had, and when it was first coming into Marvel, you had the whole Thanos thing, which is a kind of one big bad, right? Fighting a lot of humans, right?
Yeah.
Some gods, some humans, but you had like this godlike person. The Eternals, I kind of compare it to Percy Jackson. A lot of demigods fighting Mount Olympus in space. So it was a very high-powered concept for the time, and I think so. I just think it's jumbled and lost. That's why it wasn't touched for so many years. But
Now I'm
I'm
gonna be
excited.
honest. You are though. I was gonna say I'm not that excited for the movie. I don't know. I just don't have a lot of interest in the Eternals. I haven't read a lot of the old stuff. I read a
Yeah,
little bit of the new series, and I didn't really like it either.
it's not. There's a reason why only people like Neil Gaiman and John Romita Jr. You have like one of the longest tenured creators in all of history with one of the most established writers in all of like storytelling media.
Mm-hmm.
Right? To relaunch something or to tell a story about a group of characters that really have never been touched for the reasons I mentioned earlier. And then you have Kieran Gillen, who is loves playing with gods. He loves playing with gods. I don't know if you read Once in Future. That's like, I love playing with gods. He loves playing with these gods and putting them in this fantasy-esque aspect. Then you have Assad Ribic, who all this guy does is draw gods. I don't think I've ever seen.
I mean, the artwork is gorgeous.
Yes. So it just takes a special creative team to try to tell that tale, and I think just because there's so many concepts that just got lost. What's up, Caroline? It does get lost, you know? So I can totally see why people don't, like, even comic people don't really know too much about the Eternals. Neither did I until I've really been doing my research. But, you know, then you want to expect non-comic book fans to kind of get into it and try to drive this. I'm hoping they can do what they did with Guardians of the Galaxy and take an unfamiliar concept that didn't do well and just spin it in a way that's more cinematic.
Mm-hmm.
And not tell the story that we read in the comics.
That's awesome that you brought up Guardians as the comparison, because that's how I always think of it too. Is when they announced Guardians initially, I was like, man, Guardians of the Galaxy, not only how are they going to do Rocket, how are they going to do Groot? Chris Pratt's going to be in it, the dude from Parks and Recreation. Like, this is probably going to be stupid, and it was phenomenal.
Right. Zoe Saldana. Don't forget
everything.
about her, bro. Don't forget about Zoe Saldana.
Yeah, I don't know. It really just popped off, and then the next one was even better. And now I'm extremely excited for, you know, the third movie to come out.
Right.
Will Eternals be the same way? I don't know. It feels like it has definitely a different type of vibe. I have very low expectations, but I'm hoping for the best. I think they can make something really creative out of the movie and go from there.
I've heard visually it excels. That's just the buzz that I've heard.
I believe it. I mean, from the trailer alone, it really, you know, everything is just popping. Like you said, the visuals.
I still have a lot of faith in Kevin Feige, because he does love comics, right? And he's no stranger to saying that, hey, look, I love comics, you guys. But he also has a better way of saying, okay, this is how we can take this different stories, because he's very well read. This is how we can take these characters and make them a way that's more, not really new reader friendly, but visually friendly to the world. Because comics, right? So even if you look at our little comic community, all right, which isn't so little, but think about the people who aren't on Instagram, aren't on YouTube, or any of these social medias. They're just going to their shop, where we see them every day. They're still part of the community, but they're not exactly as open to what we do on social media, YouTube, all that jazz. So it's not like you're trying to appease like a fourth or maybe even an eighth, which is an eighth of the world, which is probably your diehard fans. You're trying to create a film that appeals to everybody. With the Eternals, that makes it even harder. But I think he did that with Guardians of the Galaxy, because not a whole lot of comic fans knew what that was.
I can agree with all that. Did you end up seeing Shang-Chi too?
I did.
What did you think of that one?
I thought that was a great origin story. I think it's cool how they're pushing the character and making him kind of escape from everything that he was hidden under. You know, when Starlin and Englehart created him, and Englehart was on the show, that's what we talked about, was when they created Shang-Chi, they wanted to create a character that, because Kung Fu was big at the time, right? They wanted to create a Kung Fu character. They did their research. However, they never really captured the voice because they weren't really from that heritage, or they weren't, there wasn't a whole lot of information on how to be more like knowledgeable about other cultures. I think that's the best way to put it. But now, like Genlo and Yang, even in the books, and then what they're doing in the movies, it's great to see what they have in store for Shang-Chi and how they can elevate his character and give him a voice.
So now,
Also, it just looked cool. It just looks so badass. And I'm a martial artist. I used to teach karate before
solid.
my body
COVID.
stopped. Yeah,
Oh.
before I've had 4 hip surgeries over the pandemic, and
Jesus.
So I'm retired.
I mean, are you good now? You're good now, at least.
We'll find. I mean, we'll see because I have to schedule a back surgery, but that's gonna. Other than that, I have high hopes. It's the last one, so.
Jesus, well, good luck with that.
Hey, it's all good, man.
What was it? So three hip surgeries and a back surgery? Four hip surgeries and a back surgery. That's insane.
All in 4 years. So, I mean, I'm excited to kind of, because I used to play basketball every day. Now, obviously, I can't. I don't think I've gone to, I tried. Every time I recover from surgery, I'm like, I can go back to the gym. And then I'm like, nope, something's wrong. So, I don't know. I'm just excited for little things at this point.
I mean, that's all it can be.
I mean, hey, like some people get disappointed when they can, when they're only lifting 25 pounds. I'll be so excited, man. I don't care.
Yeah, that's what it's about, though, And I mean, this kind of goes in hand with all hobbies. If you enjoy something, just keep doing it. Even if there's other people that try to put you down for it, screw them. I mean, we see that a lot. Like, there's no particular names on Instagram, but there's always somebody going at somebody. We were kind of talking about it before we went live, and it's like, we're all comic book fans. We're all reading these books. Who cares if someone's selling something for too much money? Who cares if someone has an opinion that you don't like? It's man, enjoy what you enjoy, buy what you like, read what you want to read, and go from there. There's something literally for everybody.
Right. And it's a little weird being in my position because I'm 20 years old. I don't know if anybody got that. But it's kind of people on these social medias think like, okay, I know this guy who's younger than me into comics, right? How many people are there my age that are doing this, right? Especially with everything I'm doing on YouTube. And that's not me trying to say, hey, look, I'm doing the best work. I'm like, this is stuff that's going to be here for years to come. But they're like, let me put him in his place because of his age. So I'm just like, you see, but no, because just because I'm younger does not mean you have anything else over me. Or trying to little bro is people would say okay, I'm here, go back in your place. I'm like, okay. But then when I say something like, oh yeah, guys, Johnny Media Jr. was coming on my channel, everyone wanted to be my best friend, saying yo, bro, what's up, blah, blah, blah. I'm just over it. I'm over it. I'm here for the community. I'm here if anyone wants to talk, but you're going to call me out on a public platform and then slide in my DMs when something else happens. I'm like, I'm out. Sorry.
I know that feeling. I mean, even, I see people comment on other people's videos and on their posts, and they put someone down for, just starting up a channel, and they put them down like, oh, your videos suck. Well,
just have fun with it.
They literally just started a channel. You think that whenever you guys did whatever you did, it was perfect right off the get-go? Sometimes I go back and look at my videos. They are horrible.
Oh my God. I was just
They're garbage.
So we were kind of talking about this backstage. I used to do content with another one of my friends back on IGTV when we probably 2.5 years ago at this point. And we were doing it for a year. That's actually where we met back then. And then he left and he wanted to do other stuff. Great. We're still friends. But then because I wanted to take everything to YouTube, he didn't want to do it. So he dipped. Since then, I've got 2 more co-hosts, Stefan Missing Link, who's in the chat, and then Bryce Hillbilly Comics, who you'll see on Weekly Wrap-Up tonight, and then another guy, Michael, who's going to be on Archives. So got a huge team. And we finally, within the past 2 months, have gotten a posting schedule that I mentioned earlier, and it's been so rewarding just seeing the community being so receptive and just kind of growing our friendships with it as well. So it's not just me. I couldn't do everything. I couldn't get all these interviews, do all this content without them. So I owe a lot to them, and it's just been fun. And even when we all first started, right? The videos were they weren't the best, not where they are now, and then we're setting ourselves up to where we can still keep this posting schedule, keep the same content 5 years down the line. And that's just the way that we're all thinking right now is what can we do now that'll pay off down the road.
And that's what it comes down to, like you said, you found a group of guys who you're not just close with, that you mesh with, you can make these videos with. You've got a semi-ish reasonable schedule, everyone's got kind of the same schedule. And you have fun doing with what you're doing. Even if you make your videos, you make your live streams, and people might not be a big fan in the beginning, or they put you down in the beginning.
They'll be
You
better.
guys are having fun
Right.
doing what you're doing. Just because they don't or someone doesn't mean somebody else won't. And that's what
That's all that
someone told me
counts,
in the beginning.
Right.
I
That's all
just
that counts. And if you want to
It
learn a
is.
few things from us, want to check out our reviews and what we have to say, more power to you. That's what we're there for. We like to kind of be that source of information for if you want to know a little bit more about a topic or you want to like hear a long review, because we like to sound pretty educated. So it's great. It's fantastic. We have a blast. It's never a dull moment, even when we're up just spitting ideas. What's a backlog, bro? I don't know. That's like what's
But I mean, that's truly it. Nobody in this community is better than anybody else. Nobody has, just because someone might have a bigger book or more keys or they have a massive collection.
I don't care about that.
What does that equate to?
That
Yeah, you
means
got
you
more money.
have a little more pocket
Yeah.
change.
And I mean, look at me. I mean, I make all my videos. I talk about all the upcoming books. I even do a top 10. I literally only buy about 10 or 11 books at most every week. So people, there's always somebody. That's all you got. Yeah, that's all I got. That's all I can afford.
Damn.
I buy what I like to read. I'm not just going to buy something for the sake of, oh, I bought this.
This is my poll from this past week. So
Jesus. How many books is that? It looks like 15, 16?
16, I think.
Oof. What are some of the good ones in there?
Inferno, Daredevil, Daredevil's was my pick of the week.
Oh my god. I talk about Daredevil every time I make a video. That's my biggest regret sell last year. I got rid of it, I think issue 22, and I was like, this is awesome. Chip Zdarsky's definitely killing it. But some of these issues, they're a little bit slower. I think if I bought a Omni or a big hardcover, I would like it a lot more. And then just like that, it was like 2 issues later, it completely popped off, and it's been like insane since.
Yep.
Stupid me.
I'm buying this in single issues and hardcovers. So I also my goal for what I'm doing is just to have a library too of modern comics or like omnis. Like I'm not looking to key hunt. I don't really key collect. But if I have an opportunity to buy a cover that I really like from back in the day, I will do so within a reasonable price.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really a big variant hunter. I usually stick to my collected editions because I want to build a studio when I get more income from the channel. Hopefully it'll fund itself. Fingers crossed. And I'll just have if someone from the crew ever wants to have or has a question, we just have a book to go back to. It's oh, what happened in Eternals 14? Oh, we have the omnibus right there on the shelf. Kind of
that's what I want.
It's just just the thought of it, and I look at Gem Mint's videos all the time. I'm like, you can go back if you have a question. You should never have to go to Google.
He's got all the videos on all the books, all the collected editions, all the omnis. I remember that's what actually got me into omnis. I didn't even know they existed back then. And I saw him. He's like every Spider-Man omni that exists right now. And it's like, oh my God, that's a stack. And then you just see the playlist and there's all these other ones too. So, there's people out there and they, it's like you said, a wealth of knowledge. They got it.
Right. If I want to just read it for the stories, that's just the best way to do it, in my opinion, But Daredevil was great. Moon Knight was great. What else did I enjoy from last week? I loved Inferno, but I know you don't want to talk about it.
No, see, it's not about talking about it. I don't know enough.
Are you reading Spider-Man?
The Amazing Spider-Man?
Yeah.
I picked it back up when Nick Spencer got off of it, and I'm going to be honest, it's actually been pretty good in my opinion.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fresher take on the character, which a lot of people, myself included, not a fan of the Clone Saga. So that was a big concern of mine, was how are we going to treat Ben Reilly if we're comparing it to DC and what they're doing with some of their sidekick characters or secondary characters coming to the spotlight, like Dick Grayson or even Wally West right now. You kind of have to torture him a little bit before you can put him to the forefront. I was like, I don't want to retcon the Clone Saga any more than we have to, and they didn't, and they gave it a fresh take that kind of married concepts from the Dan Slott run and completely just pushed Spencer's run to the side, said, yeah, go away. So I thought that was really fun. I thought that was fun, and I like what they're doing. I really do.
It's much better than I thought it was going to be. It feels fresh. And even for someone who doesn't know a lot about Ben Reilly, the Clone Saga, stuff like that, it almost feels like they're kind of filling you in a little bit here and there. Right. Nothing crazy, but It's just like,
just through conversation. So it's like, okay, like I get something happened and I don't really need to know much, which that's really all I could ever ask for, because I don't want it to be, oh, we're still trying to move past this concept that the rest of the world did. Right. And I think that's like with Wally West, right, with Heroes in Crisis. I think that's something that we moved past as soon as it was done. Like the world just said, no, we're done. Tom King was like, yeah, no, we're done. Dan DiDio was like, hey, this is what I really wanted this book to be. Let me keep pushing that agenda. And you're going to keep torturing Wally. So they did it. That's what they did in the first arc of the Flash run. And then Dick Grayson, that's just the whole juggernaut of a thing.
Next time you tell me that you're not that big of a DC fan, I'm going to come back to this and tell you to rewatch this live stream, because you've got a lot of knowledge on DC.
I'm see, here's the thing: is I've been reading for probably 6 years, and at the time when I started reading, I was reading Modern and Silver Age, Bronze Age. The only really gap I have to catch up on is anywhere from like 1999 to 2012, or maybe like 2015. And in both Marvel DC. I'm more versed in Marvel right now than I am in like more modern DC. But I try to be as well read as I can, just because I like to enjoy everything, and I like to kind of talk to everyone, see what they're reading, and it helps me be the best version of myself when I come in front of the camera too.
That's good. I mean, I truly don't know much about DC. Even Marvel, I've got my knowledge. I don't have an insane amount of knowledge. I'm definitely very go-to for indies. If it's a new indie series, it's almost a guarantee I'm going to read it no matter what. It's just, I don't know. There's something about, I know everybody loves the superheroes. That's a lot of people's go-tos, but for me, it just feels like at some point it's, here's a it is, like you said, we got Daredevil, Superman, Miles Morales, a new Hulk series, a new Venom series. Thor's even ongoing right now. It's at some point I just kind of get
there's never been a time where Thor hasn't been ongoing.
That's what I mean. It feels like it's just so not overwhelming, but oversaturated. There's just so much superhero stuff that's just never ending.
I think we're very oversaturated with the prices in the market, because it's mostly a direct translation to the story. Right now, we are geared towards and this is like through the fault of a lot of content creators, and I think at the end of the day, it's the people that are out here talking about this stuff that are ultimately responsible to inspire people to keep reading or to do what you do. Now it's more like, okay, what's the hottest variant on the shelf? What's the hottest cover on the shelf? Or what book is gonna be $20 the day of the release or plus?
Yep.
Not really. Okay, but where's this story going? And I think that is 100% our own fault and our own doing, which I get it. Money talks. I'm not discounting that at all. But a lot of the whole superhero exhaustion is because we're constantly bumping. These books are going to sell. Pick these up, and at the exhaustion of, okay, maybe this won't be in my pull list because some Joe Schmo picked up 7 books, right? Or one of each variant, and now they're flipping it, and it makes it harder to hunt down these books and kind of say, and for people who, like I said, are not on Instagram, not on YouTube, not as like they just go to their shop, right? People shopping week to week. They're the people that are ultimately hurting from this.
Yeah.
So, and I know exactly what that's like. That's how I started. I didn't start with a pull box. I started, okay, I have $20. What books am I buying this week?
I did too. It's really fun that way. It's not, but it is.
So I think for me, that's my biggest exhaustion. Indies I like reading in trade. Like I love indies too. Don't get me wrong. It's like, for me, is because I'm buying so much, it's harder to remember what happened in like a monthly indie series. I'm just like, and oftentimes they will go on hiatus because they have the same creative team. So it's like Philadelphia, for example. I bought every issue. I have every issue of this first run. Went on a little hiatus, and I'm like, oh, well, what happened now? Undiscovered Country was the same thing. I was very high in the book, and I just fell off, and I started reading it in trade.
I kind of feel you with Philadelphia, because it always feels like there's a ton of stuff happening, and then all of a sudden the series doesn't come out for a little bit, and you pick it up again, and it's all action. You're like, God damn it, what happened last time?
Right? I'm just like, where did this guy? Why are we killing each other this time?
But seriously, if you didn't pick up Nita Hawes' Nightmare blog, you need to at least grab that too. It was very good, but it's also by Rodney Barnes and I think was his name, Sean Alexander.
Yeah.
And they're kind of building what seems to be like a Philadelphia demon world, because Nita Hawes is referenced in Philadelphia from the latest issue, and Philadelphia was referenced in the Nightmare Blog issue. So Nita Hawes and I was gonna say, I try not to spec on things like that, but the way that the series are kind of going, I mean,
talking to each other.
Yeah,
it's like House of Slaughter. It's like you got a little footnote in there for me.
Yeah, it seems like they're building a world, and the Nita Hawes ones takes place in Baltimore, Maryland. So I know you said, actually,
I was just there.
You're just there.
Rodney is actually from Maryland, so.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense then. But I think a lot of readers, they might like the Nita Hawes one a little bit more. From the first issue, it seems more like demons instead of vampires. I know vampires have been, I mean, you had Redneck, that was vampires, Philadelphia. I think there's another vampire series that's ongoing or just recently ended from Image.
American Vampire, but that's a DC Black Label.
That one just ended. So, I mean, that's kind of a lot of vampire stuff on the market.
Again, that's just people trying to use a lot of horror, but like horror books are so. I would say they're kind of in a fad right now, kind of like how Pho was for a good period.
Oh, I'm all about horror stuff. Honestly,
I'm going to say I'm all about Pho. I was like, I made me too. But
well, hold on, that too though. That too.
But I don't know. It's too much of one thing is never a good thing, and I try to be selective with what I read in trade. So you saw the big stack. I mean, I had
massive stack.
Most of them I've already read. Like I've already read most of them in kind of like the Batman Detective, the Superman. I've already read in floppies. It's just
cool.
They're nice, oversized, and like Absolute Carnage I've already read. I'm looking at Sweet Tooth, which I've had there for probably months now. Paper Girls I just picked up.
Did you read Paper Girls yet?
I've read the first 3 trades. So like, okay. I have issues 2 through 15. I got them for a really good deal. I think I paid like $20 for that set.
That's really good.
Yep. And then I bought the trades, and I bought 3 trades. I read them, and I was like, and then Cliff Chang was signing the hardcovers. The first day he was selling all 3 signed by him in BKV for $60, and I was like, ooh, I should do that. But my wallet said no. My wallet like ran away from me. We had this whole argument, and then it was really nasty. And then and then on Sunday I came back, and he was like, I don't have it. I have the first one. I'm like, nice, I'll take it. And I went back to LCS and bought the other 2. So I was like, might as well give it a go. They look cool.
Now, I think I was talking to you about Brian K. Vaughan's series a little bit. I know Fire Guy Ryan and we talked a lot about him. What is the other stuff you read from him?
Saga's probably my favorite book of all time.
So I've got that one sitting right here.
I see it. I peeped. I was like, that's awesome.
I haven't read it though. Not yet.
Bro. I haven't read Why the Last Man. I know Ryan is very high on it. I haven't read Ex Machina yet.
I haven't read that. I did read Why the Last Man, the whole series.
You picked it up, and you're like, yeah, dude, I'm done in like 2 weeks. I'm like,
yeah, it was good.
And you say, I'm not going to have time to read all this. But
I couldn't stop.
You take like how many pages is that? Like 1,500 pages, something like that?
I think it was pushing. I think it's either a little over 1,400 or a little under.
So okay. So anyway,
I know
I'm right there. So
I
want to read that. I really do. I've read The Oath, which is a great book by Dr. Strange. Here's like Brian K. Vaughan's that his omnibuy are like thicker than any Kardashian you ever see on TV. I'm sorry. But yeah, I've read The Oath, which is probably one of my favorite Doctor Strange stories. I champion the Jason Aaron run, then The Oath is probably like right directly underneath. Mm-hmm. So I'm a huge Brian K. Vaughan fan, except I just want to read as much of him as I can, and it's harder because I know that they're going to be in print, and I also know like there's a time and place for it, and I'm like, his books are also more affordable when you have that to drop, and I've heard they're better that way, so it's like I'm kind of waiting on it, and he's always going to come out with something new.
Yep, that's kind of how I felt. I mean, I don't have them up on the shelf actually. No, I took them home with me last time I visited. Paper Girls, I read all 3 of those volumes. Super, probably a couple sittings. Really easy read, very good read. Saga, I'm sitting on that. I mean, they're coming back with it. I don't know how many issues are in that, but they announced that.
I think they're doing another 60 or another 54.
So, I'll read this compendium and just sit on that for a couple years until the next one's done. What do you think? I mean, you said you really liked it.
Well, I'm so
Read that.
excited. I'm so excited. Do you like Star Wars?
Here and there. I don't hate it.
Do you like Game of Thrones?
I liked it up until the last season.
Okay, fine. You like Game of Thrones. Great. You did. Do you like kind of like Romeo and Juliet type stuff? Or kind of like West Side Story?
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. If it's,
okay, I put all 3 of those in a jug and make it in space, sci-fi. There are a lot of boobs in Saga, so you can get past that. I'd say you're in pretty good shape.
Oh, cool. I mean, maybe I'll start reading it next now.
Yeah, exactly, right? So maybe that maybe that might be on your list. Oh, my dogs are talking now.
Oh, I know the feeling. I mean, I got 2 dogs. Every time I do this, they start barking at least once or twice. It's all good.
This is the first time they've ever barked during one of my streams or during a stream that I've done.
It makes up for my dogs not barking, so
I guess so.
We're good.
One of them got to misbehave.
All right, well, we got a real dude popping in. What's going on?
Rude, yeah. No.
Been neglecting all these. Ryan Davis. I've been looking at this one. If you're still hanging out, I do not know if you can press that. To be honest, I'm not even sure if I remember what that cover looks like. We got another 54. Yep. Awesome for that heads up. Ex Machina is a thick series.
Thicker than a Kardashian, like I said earlier.
I haven't read that one, but I'm always keeping up with it, or I'm always trying to keep up with that type of stuff. I mean, I haven't read the Invincible one back there either. I pretty much picked, or the Spawn. I got really good deals on them, so I thought to myself, I can't turn these down. I'm reading other stuff, and
I'll get to it eventually.
Yeah, I don't want to miss. I mean, I think Saga's I think 25, maybe even 20. Invincible I think was 20, and then Spawn I think I spent 35 or 40. So
you got to send me whoever sent you those, because I got some books that I would love to purchase.
That's what I'm saying. I couldn't turn it down. Right. Even the Walking Dead ones, I think I got for like 10 or 15 each. Great deals.
Crazy. That's insane. I loved Invincible. I think Invincible. I would say probably if I were to have 4 favorite books, probably Frank Miller's Daredevil. I would say Saga, Ultimate Spider-Man, and Invincible would probably be my top books.
I haven't finished Ultimate Spider-Man, but I'll tell you what, that is a very underrated read.
It is. It's
big fan of what I read. I think I read the first maybe 50 pages. I know that there's an Omni that's out of print. I think they're making a new one, so that was what I've been
It's coming out in November.
Oh, for real?
Coming out in 2 weeks, I think, 2-3 weeks, depending on whatever fuck shit's going on with the paper.
Oh my god, it's been brutal. Even like the preview videos, I make the whole video, and then once I start editing it, almost none of the books are still coming out. All the schedules change, and it's what did I just do?
Right. That's why I don't do those videos.
It hasn't been that way. It's a recent thing.
I know, but that's why I'll wait until Tuesday. Email the store manager. I was like, can I get these books? But I know right now my pull list is probably me 16. They didn't I wasn't able to get crossover from last week just because they didn't get all their variants. And I was like, I'm not getting a variant. And plus, I do. I have to talk about this, and it's like, nope.
That's been happening even my shop. They're getting shorted on some books. Like they didn't get Telepaths 2 from AWA. They didn't get another AWA one. They missed out on some indies, or they're getting all of their books that Wednesday. It's been annoying, but I get it. So
what they should do is if you pre-ordered it or you're already subbing to it, so that's basically you're pre-ordering, they should put those in your file, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they don't get extra copies, everyone else just have to wait till they come out. But if you already are guaranteed to get that book, you've already pre-ordered, they've already filled out the order sheet, you should get it at that date. That's really my biggest gripe is.
Should. Hopefully,
but it's more like an obligation. Okay, I bought something from you, or that's how a subscription works. Here you go. But
I definitely understand that. We've got back in PA, the one shop that I go to, they have a lot of.
You're in PA? Oh, you're in Philly right now, right? Or
no, I'm still out in Oklahoma for another month, maybe 2 months at most, and then I'm moving back home to Pennsylvania. But my shop back there, they actually have a few people that they have a huge pull list, and then they get it that day, and whatever books they don't want, they put it right back on the shelf. That is just so. It sucks because I get it. Maybe someone's like, oh, I actually don't want to read this anymore, but it's so just disrespectful to that shop. I feel like,
Right.
you ordered it from them just because you don't want it anymore. You put it back.
The only time I ever do that is when I say, hey, look, I'm canceling this, and I'll let them know like after I've read like the issue. Like, hey, like I don't want this on my pull anymore.
Yeah.
Sometimes
And
I'm
then
so over
sometimes
it
it
for
pops
me,
up still.
and I'm just like, I didn't order this. Like, yeah, you did. I'm like, well, here's the email. Like, I'm like, out of courtesy, I like, I get it. I'll buy it again because I'm more easygoing. But it's weird. I mean, I'm like an hour away from Third Eye, and I have a good relationship with
Cool.
those guys. So it's like, whenever I don't get a book, I know that I can just call them up the day and say, hey, that's kind of what happened with my Something's Killing the Children slipcase. My shop kind of screamed like, oh, we filled out 10 orders. We only got 2 of them, but you're not getting one. I was like, I was the first one to pre-order it. What the fuck? And then
That's
so
how I
I was
felt
like,
with mine.
and then I was like, I know I was the first one because I was the one who sent the post that Ross Ritchie made, or even the pre-order for it to them. And I was like, I would like one. And they're like, oh, I didn't know this was happening. That's how I know. But anyway, I got one nice discounted from Third Eye. So
Nice. I was gonna say you gotta check some shops because even though you pre-order it, once they saw, I mean, I don't know if you saw eBay that day, but they were selling for like 170,
I
180.
saw Baltimore Comic Con. Some dude, I saw somebody sell it for 250.
That's insane.
I was like, this man just probably doing cartwheels in his front lawn the next day. I swear to God. He went home from the con saying that was the easiest freaking flip I've ever made. But, everyone's a speculator, and that's what Ross Ritchie does best, is sell to bigger businesses.
I mean, I get it for that book, kind of. Apparently, it's very exclusive. I don't know if you opened yours. I didn't open mine yet.
I did. I'm not selling it.
I'm not selling mine either. But with me moving, I'm just gonna kind of leave it as is and go from there. Like there's so many back there that I haven't opened yet because I knew I was going to be moving. I just want to leave it just in case. But I mean, even my shop, I pre-ordered it through them. But when I was there buying my books, I said, hey, by any chance, did this come out today? Or did you guys, did you not get it? And he just kind of gave me a little nod. And once he checked out everybody else, he was like, yeah, we're keeping them in the back because not everybody that gets the book had it pre-ordered, and we want to make sure that they get it first because, they're already subscribed to it. So we're going to give them the option. And if they don't want it, then we'll put it out on the shelf. So I thought that was really cool that they did that. But
yeah, your shop did it right. But like, I ordered it and I didn't even get it. And I was like,
that's messed up though.
I was like, dude, like, I probably spend the most money in your shop on a weekly basis. You see what I pull.
I feel that way. I mean, my shop, I love them. I'm going to be really upset when I move back to PA, but I love my shop at home too. I had to break the news to him the other day. I was like, hey, I'm actually going to be moving in a month. And he was like, oh man, really? I was like, yeah. I felt like I was going to shed a tear. I've been there for all these years now. It's like the last 4 years of me living here, I've only been going there. And I don't know. Is what it is, but it's just good to know that you have a good shop.
Right. As long as you can kind of like keep in contact with them,
Oh yeah, I'll definitely stay in touch with them. They're super good dudes. So everyone in chat right now, if you ever go out to Oklahoma, New World Comics in Oklahoma City, awesome group of dudes. I'm going to be doing, I think, a video with them before I leave, so stay tuned for that as well. But yeah.
Dang, man, that sucks.
It does. But I love my shop at home too. They're a really good group too.
Right. I got family in PA or in Philly too, so.
Do you know is center or like the Philly City or
around like Valley Forge area? So I don't know what it is.
I know that area.
History, so
it's a really shitty area to live right now with all the traffic. And even when I visited home, it's a 45-minute drive to Center City, Philly. It probably took about an hour, almost 2 hours to get there.
Yikes.
I know. But just want to say we are coming up on the hour mark. Usually these episodes only last, roughly an hour. Got some other things we can talk about, but if anybody has any questions for Brandon, anything about ComixKings, the schedule, the videos that they're going to be releasing, we talked about it in the beginning, but if you guys are just tuning in right now, this is a time for you to talk about it again.
So yeah, like I mentioned earlier, we have 4 shows. I have a good group of guys with me to create ComixKings. It's Stephen Missing Link, Bryce Hillbilly Comics, and Michael for Love of Comics. And what's a backlog, bro? No,
I only put that up because I saw Missing Link.
That's 7 right there. And so first show that we have, that's actually me tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern time, weekly wrap up where me and Bryce, we talk about all the books we read over the past week. We are giving 2 exclusive reviews of Batman, Superman, The Authority by Philip Kennedy Johnson, and then Knighted by Greg Hurwitz from AWA, which we talked about earlier. That's going to be a fun show. So that's kind of a great way where we just sit back, talk about the books, review them. They're all my favorite shows. I love them all equally, but that's kind of more of our flagship that we started with, that I like people for us to know about, or to really get out there more, because that's really our only live stream, other than Creators Corner, which is when I interview someone in the comic industry. Like I said, we have Lee Williams this Thursday, the 4th, and then I have Jim Shooter coming up, Marv Wolfman, and Jam DeMatteis. And then so when I hear back from a few people that I can't talk about, but we are booked with dates all the way up until end of January 2022. So that's awesome. Gonna be really exciting, and I don't think that's ever happened. So that's just a reflection of how receptive that show has been, and just the support that everyone's been showing to keep that coming. And we have a Whiplash Wednesdays, PCP Army Bad Badge. Me and Stefan, we are going to be doing Crisis on Infinite Rants. We are going to be talking about what makes a successful relaunch, right? Because a lot of times we don't see that happening. And what would we do differently, and how would you treat certain characters and all that good stuff. That'll be at 8 p.m. Eastern time as well. And then Friday, Archives drops, where we will be reviewing The Eternals by Neil Gaiman and John Romita Jr. So get in gear for the movie. That drops at 1 o'clock sharp Eastern time as well. Awesome. I hope that was a good marketing.
No, that was an awesome rundown. Like I said in the beginning of the video, all the links are down low in the description. Go sub up, go follow them on Instagram. Obviously, they got a lot of awesome content coming out. They've got a lot of good things planned for the future. But I've got one final question for you. I like to ask everybody, who would you say, I usually do top 5, but if you can do top 3, your top 3 to 5 writers right now, or all time.
You had right now, and I already had it. But
all right, we'll do right now then. We'll do right now.
I'd probably go Chip Zdarsky. Donny Cates is one of my favorite writers right now. I would probably throw Ram V in there. I'll throw Ram V in there. And Philip Kennedy Johnson is also in there as well.
So from those writers, Chip Zdarsky, what would you say is probably your favorite series?
Daredevil. Don't mess with Daredevil. Hands down, Daredevil. I'm giving my favorites from all of them. Philip Kennedy, probably Action Comics right now. I love it right now. And then who else did I mention?
Donny Cates.
Donny Cates. I'm very stoked for Hulk. I loved Venom, and I'm excited
for Hulk. I'm excited for Hulk too.
I'm liking Thor. Took a little bit of a lull, but I'm looking at it long term, and I'm like, this is kind of exciting. And then it's funny how I didn't say Hickman, but and then Ram V, the Manny Desolate Star, I think is one of the best books that came out over the year.
What was it?
Manny Desolate Star.
Oh yeah, I broke up for a second. I was gonna say that series was phenomenal.
Yeah, but he was on the show to talk about it, so that's another interview that you guys can go back and watch. That was really fun.
Hell yeah! So they got a lot of stuff coming out. Those are the top writers for them right now. Thank you, chat, for hanging out with us today, and thank you so much, Brandon, for coming on to this. I really do appreciate it. I know you, like I said, you just got off of work. You jumped right onto this. You got a lot of stuff going on tonight, so I know your time is very important to you. And like I said, I really do appreciate you coming on.
No problem. If you guys have free time later tonight, feel free to stop by in the chat. Just let us know you came here, and we'll chat you on the show. I can't praise Weekly Wrap Up enough, and just like how interactive the chat is. We are always talking about books in the comment section in the chat, and I'm always looking at it. So like, even if you do leave a comment or question, we weave it in organically into the show, so it fits, and it's one of my favorite produced shows on the channel.
Awesome, and I really do appreciate that, Jackson.
You're killing it, AR.
I do.
I've seen you grow from day one since you started YouTube, and it's been a very fun journey to see, and I'm glad that I can help be on stream with you and help you be part of it.
Awesome. Thank you again, chat. Thank you again, Brandon. There's a lot of fun. Stay tuned. It's 8 o'clock Eastern tonight, so make sure you tune into the weekly wrap up. And with that being said, stay tuned for our next episode. I've got one coming I got another live stream coming tomorrow with the guys from Dynamite, and then Friday, stay tuned for that one. I've got a little bit more info coming, but I want to keep that one a surprise for a few more days. So with that being said, thank you again, everybody, and have a good night.
Stay tuned, guys.